Chapter 2 The Man from the Sky. A girl with a familiar rose pendant came to pick him up in the early morning. She appeared to say something about an Eleora who had once again overslept. Her face was small, her cheeks were freckled, her hands fine and soft. 17, 18 years, 19 at most. She introduced herself as Mikaya, and kindly asked if he could walk. He eagerly came along in his socks. In the young daylight, the valley looked quite different. The grass was green, the trees rustled cheerfully, 10 to 20 people were active on the small road up ahead. They were carrying boxes and crates, as if preparing for some kind of festivity, and many stopped curiously as the man and the girl crossed the open space. He noticed that news of his arrival must have gone around the village. Mikaya looked at him with interest. She seemed to hesitate for a moment, but then she blurted out, "How's your name?" The man stared back. "I don't remember." Her mouth fell open. "Seriously, no? Well, you've been dropping out of the sky after all." He did his best to decipher her words, and came to the conclusion that he had probably misheard. "Did I drop down from the sky?" he attempted in a comical voice. "Aye," Mikaya nodded. "Last night you did." "What the blazes?" said the under-bear. "I don't understand," the man said, while they moved toward the large house facing the temple. Mikaya raised an apologetic hand in front of her mouth. "Oh, shame, I actually can't tell you not." "How does someone fall from the sky? Is that a metaphor of yours? What do you mean by that?" "Shame," she repeated, shaking her head. "I should have silenced. You hungry?" The man felt the porridge hanging in the air and tried to keep his face smug. "A bit." "Us have everything," Mikaya smiled, gratefully using this diversion. "Warm meat, shrooms with cheese, and cooked pears. Me auntie's a good cook." She frisked onto the veranda. The building was clearly the most important one in the area. Past it, the two roads sloped downward, left and right, toward the rest of the valley. But the man only half registered the sight. The bear within him was too curious about the story of his accident. He minded Mikaya, who put her delicate fingers against the front door. "You'll now be seeing me father, the elder. He'll explain y'all." She pushed the door open and allowed him to step inside first, into a room where a lot of light entered through the large window. The plank floor creaked cosily under his feet. Most of the furniture were made of light wood. The china cabinet, the dinner table, the chairs, and soft red flowers bloomed in several prominent pots and bowls. A staircase on the other side led to the upper floor, from which a man just descended at a placid pace. His hair was combed to the side in a neat but stylish way. He wore horn-rimmed glasses and had a small but intelligent face. In his black waistcoat and patent leather shoes, he made for the man and extended a cordial hand. "Our unexpected guest, good morning and welcome. I be Leonardo." His voice sounded slightly hoarse and fragile, but he shook the attentive man's hand firmly. "Did you recover a bitty, thanks to me wife's good care, friend?" "Aye. She'll be round with the rest of the breakfast any minute. Take a seat." "Thank you." The man slowly pulled back the chair he was appointed to. Leonardo sat down next to him at the head of the table, and Mikaya diagonally opposite, so that a seat remained at Leonardo's side, for his wife, presumably. Mikaya's glance jumped excitedly between the man and her father. "His name's gone poof," she said, "so should us give him a new one, right?" "Mikaya!" Leonardo spoke reproachfully, and the man, who hadn't understood Mikaya, looked at the two of them in confusion. "This be a special meeting, remember? You talk of the White Phoenix. True that. The girl smiled guiltily at the man and started playing with her fork. I don't know what you just asked, he said, but are you calling me a phoenix? Leonardo cast him a fatherly glance. Aye, ja. Or you were. Don't you remember not? The man stared back and wondered if he was the centerpiece of a joke. I have no idea what you're talking about. See, Micaiah said, when he crashed down, She smacked another hand in front of her mouth. Leonardo put his thumb and index finger to his chin. His intrigued eyes narrowed. It appears you're a phoenix. Your memory loss confirms it, friend. It'll take some time explaining. Wouldn't it be useful to give me a temporary name? The man interrupted him. Micaiah's face brightened up. Precise! In what seemed like an impulse, she added, What do you think of Jonas? A moment of uncertain silence fell, during which the trio made and broke eye contact in rapid succession. Jonas, the under-bear snickered. Well, fine with me, said the man, and he cleared his throat. Why not? Leonardo treated them to a calm and warm laugh, until an unhealthy-sounding cough cut him short. I got a special daughter, that be clear. Very well. Jonas, welcome once again. Thank you, Jonas answered, whose new identity still felt a bit strange. He assumed that this would pass. Less certain in that regard did he feel about the species he was classified as at this table, the phoenix, a bird from old myths. Micaiah said I came falling from the sky, is that true? Shall us wait for me wife a sec? Leonardo proposed politely. She can't stay away much longer no more. I want to know, Jonas insisted. Leonardo tilted his head a few centimeters and remained silent for a moment. It was like he was pondering something. His grey eyes rested on Jonas for 5 seconds, and his hand stroked his collar in the shape of a flaming rose. Eventually, he nodded. Micaiah bent forward, her arms across her chest on top of the table so as not to miss a word. Her light hairs fell half into her footplate. Right then, Jonas, Leonardo spoke, with the calm but concerned air of a doctor. You're now in Valerian, the world o' men. Valerian, you say? Aye. And where is that? The world consists of heaven and earth, and here on the earth be where you're now. Do you imagine? You mean if I understand it? Leonardo nodded. No, said Jonas. Then I won't beat round the bush, not? Ye probably came from the city in the heavens. Several quiet seconds passed, during which Jonas stared at the elder. He did not remember anything about a life in the clouds, but that was precisely the problem. How so? He managed to utter. First, you're unknown in all Valerian, Leonardo indicated. You're currently in the village quarter called Pinel. The other all quarters back sent me a telegram. The other village quarters sent you a telegram? Jonas repeated, in order to be certain he had heard it well. And they're saying no one is missing among them. Aye, Leonardo said, and he continued with emphasis, but that ain't the main reason not. Ye down-crashed in the shape o' a white phoenix, and were reborn a human. Okay. Jonas noticed that the primary reason wasn't really sinking in. Wait, how many villages have you contacted? All 3 quarters, Rizek, Emma, and Saun. Hero here, be Pinel. Jonas laughed, half with relief. Well, the world's got a few more villages than one, you know. I'm probably from a nearby region, or... His voice died out, Micaiah looked at him as if he had claimed that up was down and vice versa. Not, he concluded weakly. The world's only one village, Leonardo said, in a voice as if that closed the case. Us have forests and mountains, beyond there be nothing. If ye can think a land with more size, this proves ye came from the heavens. You're a phoenix. But why a phoenix? Jonas said, almost snarling. Don't I look just like you? Us think you were reborn, Leonardo explained. The phoenix be a firebird that's reincarnated as it dies. Ye fell on the earth, just outside the vow, an accident, but ye've risen from the flames. So multiple phoenixes live in the heavens? Jonas said, toneless with bewilderment. Right, said Micaiah. I see 'em fly every day, high in the clouds, birdies, snow white. And those white birds are the rulers in heaven? Well, Micaiah continued enthusiastically, their leader be the dragon. Neanderthals, the underbear determined dejectedly. Neanderthals, the lot of 'em. Jonas instinctively tried to dig a hand into his hair, but his finger struck the bandage. He lowered the hand again. Bizarre, surreal. What had come over these people? How could they believe in creatures from folklore? Perplexed though he was, he realized that going against it was futile. He tried another approach. Do heaven and earth get into frequent contact? Twice a year, said Leonardo, after which he got a brief coughing fit. He went on somewhat hoarsely. "'Tis ironic, but you came in the nick of time. On the morrow the whole village be going to the Penglai, the holy mount in the north, where the dragon shall greet and bless us for the summer. Yous come with. The reunion with your master just may return your memories." Micaiah was beaming at Jonas. "Now me wife's still not here yet, not," Leonardo noticed abruptly, a slightly anxious frown on his forehead. "Breakfast should have been long ready. Excuse me for a beat." He stood up and walked past behind Jonas, toward the kitchen door. Micaiah immediately chased him with interest. Jonas remained seated. He would have been curious under normal circumstances, he suspected at least, but now he was far too preoccupied with his own thoughts. Here he was, a man without a memory, with a temporary name, who had just been told that he had come from the heavens, that he, once a white phoenix, had reincarnated as a full-grown human. Absurd. He refused to believe it. But in that case, he could scream. What had really happened? The questions were swarming through his brain, thrashing about like kids on a climbing frame. For a moment, it was once again like he had awoken for the first time, with incense in his nose and images swimming across his retina. Why could he not remember? X does not want to know who he is at all. Oh, that was right. If he discovered it, that might be very unhealthy. Perhaps he would go mad. Only, how could he silence his own curiosity now, the questions that were droning through his skull? He allowed a tiny memory, vague and amorphous. Always when he had unpleasant thoughts, it helped if someone distracted him. That was it. He had to give in to an irresistible feeling. The feeling that he was not only something small and fluffy, but also something charming, dressed in a smoking. "Buongiorno," said the figure in the black smoking to the dumbfounded underbear. "I am il filosofo."